another thing that I'm a little amazed by is how much an election makes a difference. And it's not just the Democrats have seized power. All of a sudden, everything that everyone believed right before the election is completely moot, and they never believed it, and now they all, half of them believe something completely different. A good example of that is now everybody's talking about standing up to the president. One of the hearings we're going to have is on the warrantless wiretapping, and more importantly, actually, the signing statements is something they're going to focus on. Well, I don't know which one's more important. They're both egregious violations of the law and the Constitution. And now a whole bunch of Republicans are saying, yeah, of course, right, Iraq war, bad, warrantless wiretapping, signing statements, violation of our congressional powers, terrible, etc. Right before the election, not only all of the Republicans, but some of the Democrats voted for the Military Commissions Act, which was the worst of the worst. That not only authorized the president to torture people at his discretion, and 17 other violations of the Constitution and international law, but also took away habeas corpus rights. That means that you don't have to bring anybody to any court or any judge or any trial, as long as you say, snap my finger, he's an enemy combatant. It gave the president unprecedented power, and 34 House Democrats signed on to that because they were still scared of the president. Oh, my God, we'll lose our election if we don't give the president everything he wants. Now, all of a sudden, an election happens, and people are like, oh, I see, we're going to lose our seat if we don't challenge this guy. And now they're all on the other side like, oh, of course, yes, no, the president's terrible. Let's go get him and make sure he doesn't have these powers. Man, these guys, if you didn't already know this obvious fact, they are politicians. And, Ben, I got it. You say all the time, a lot of people go in there with good intent. I know a lot of people go in with good intent. Man, they become politicians awfully quick.
I don't think there's anything. I mean, that word has become pejorative, but I don't think it has to be. I mean, nothing. I mean, you were actually, you're also proving the other point. I mean, I'm not excusing anything, but the fact of the matter is, winning the election changes everything. And that's when you can make, and nothing would have.
I think winning the election, more than gaining power, I think what it does is it scares the other politicians. Because all they care about is keeping their power, and they just saw a whole bunch of their Republican buddies get walked out of town. And their election is coming up in 2 years in moderate states like Oregon and Maine, so Susan Collins and Gordon Smith, all of a sudden, the biggest enemies of the administration.
I mean, there is unquestioned truth that Gordon Smith and Susan Collins and Norm Coleman, vulnerable Republicans who read the tea leaves and read, okay, the country is headed in a different direction, and it's, probably not even a direction that the good news for them is that they probably were closer to thinking this all along. They just thought it was going the other direction, but that's all true. But first of all, it's not the only thing they care about in any way. I mean, these things are not mutually exclusive. So,
look, I don't want to be extreme and say it's the only thing they care about, but it's certainly the dominant thing they care about.
Right, but winning the election is not only what changes the way people are talking and the way people are acting, it also changes the direction of the country. So, in many ways, the way to change the direction of the country, if you hate the direction of the country, as we all did in those first 5 years of the Bush administration, is to win the election. So the motivation to, hey, I don't know how, I think that most of the calculations that Democrats made were wrong, but it was with the thought of winning the election, because that's how they can then put a stop to it. Now, you can describe that can both be described as incredibly practical and good for the country. It can also be described as very cynical, and there's no real. I don't think there's no real correct answer. It is both correct and cynical.
Well, I'm the bad guy. I think there is a correct answer. I think it's certainly both, but more cynical than practical. Because that's like saying, well, I gave away all your rights, but I was just being practical. Because I wanted to win. I wanted to win. And by me winning, it was also going to help the country and help us go in the right direction after I passed all the hideous laws.
I understand, but of course the Democrats didn't pass those hideous laws, and Democrats are quite capable of passing hideous laws. But
first of all, the so-called moderate Republicans, and that's really the focus of my ire here, definitely did.
Sure,
they never, ever would have challenged the president. If they had, if their party had won again, forget about it. You think Gordon Smith and Norm Coleman and Susan Collins are giving these brave speeches? No way. They're right back to going under Dick Cheney's desk and servicing him in any way that he wants it.